can make. Can I say the northern hemisphere is dominated by land, while the southern hemisphere is dominated by water bodies? This is the one conclusion we are making. Very, very important conclusion. So, northern hemisphere is dominated by the land mass, the southern hemisphere is dominated by the water bodies. Because ये पूरा land है and ये बाकी का पूरा area is an ocean. वैसे earth is dominated by the oceans. Can I make the second conclusion, which is here? Though the northern hemisphere is dominated by the land mass, but north pole surprisingly is a water body, Arctic Ocean. North pole, जो north के top है, it is an water body, that is an Arctic Ocean. Secondly, though the southern hemisphere is dominated by the water bodies, surprisingly the south pole is an land, that is the continent of Antarctica. This is the second point you will be remembering. That is the northern hemisphere is dominated by, the first point is northern hemisphere is dominated by the land, but north pole is water body, and the southern hemisphere is dominated by water, but the south pole is a land mass. South pole is a land mass. Fine with this? And now, just look at the atlas, just look at the maps I am making. Once you are familiar with these words, then you will understand many of the theories. Just get familiar with the words. आज बहुत सारी चीजें नई लगेगी to many of the people. Just get familiar with the words so that कल के lecture से it will be easier for you to understand. Now the third conclusion can I make by looking at this is that only one ocean, Indian Ocean, is the ocean which has been given the name of a country. बाकी किसी और ocean का नाम नहीं है country से. Indian Ocean is the only ocean which has been given the name of an country. And in the Indian Ocean, can I say it is the only ocean out of the three major oceans which is half a ocean? क्यों half? Because unlike the other oceans, Pacific connected to the Arctic and Antarctic, Atlantic connected, but Indian, याद रखना, वैसे we will be writing these points many of time. I am not dictating anything अभी, but Indian Ocean is an example of an half of an ocean. क्यों हमें याद रखना है? Because इसलिए इंडिया में climate changes, we have monsoon type of climate. इसलिए इंडिया में ocean currents change, we have the ocean currents which are dependent only on this winds change. इंडिया में entire climatic belt of India changes as compared to the other parts of the world, and इसलिए Indian geography is unique. Because Indian geography is unique, India has climate which is present at the equator, as well as India has some types of climates which is present at the poles. For example, India में hot deserts भी है, जो बाकी के world में सिर्फ specific locations पे है. India has ice caps and glaciers which is found over the poles. In fact, Karakoram range, which is a part of Himalayas, has the largest amount of ice caps and glaciers outside the polar regions. World में इतना fresh water कहीं पे भी नहीं है जितना Himalayas में है. इसीलिए Himalayas are worshipped by Chinese religion, by Tibet's Buddhism, as well as by the Hinduism. Because Himalayas अगर नहीं होते तो आज ये part जहाँ पे हम खड़े वो नहीं होता. वो you will realize over the period of time. This part is the gift of Himalayas. So this is one of the reasons why Indian Ocean is half ocean. Second thing is Indian Ocean is an enclosed ocean. In the northern hemisphere, it is enclosed by many countries. And what are the countries? Djibouti, Somalia. Big country है? नहीं. This country is Oman and Yemen. This is Iran. This is Pakistan. This is India. This is Burma, Myanmar. उसके बाद Malaysia. To some extent, Thailand उस साइड है, Malaysia. उसके बाद Indonesia. Indonesia के बाद Australia. पर यहाँ पे एक ही सुपर पावर है, that is India. So Indian Ocean के ऊपर India has control over the Indian Ocean. But it is said in geography का law that one who controls this part of the world controls Central Asia. One who controls Central Asia controls South Asia. One who controls South Asia controls Indian Ocean. And one who controls Indian Ocean rules the world. And this is true. That is why Afghanistan पहले Russia ने occupy करने की कोशिश की. After that, the USA did. Now China is trying to interfere. India is also interested because if you can control the Indian Ocean, you control 80% of the world's trade. And इसीलिए हमारे syllabus में topic है geopolitics of Indian Ocean, because Indian Ocean का hegemony is challenged by USA and by China. And कैसे challenge कर रहा है China? This is a part which is an introduction that China has ports surrounding India in this region. And what you call this as a string of pearls. We'll come over the period of time to the string of pearls policy. But China ने क्या किया है? China has constructed a port in Pakistan known as Gwadar port. China has taken a port in Maldives, that is Malé. China has taken a port in Sri Lanka, that is Hambantota. China has taken a port in Cocos, Myanmar, Coco Islands. And thus this is the string of the pearls policy because China is making inroads. After that, दो United Nations ने कल भी कहा, कल भी US का statement है, that the Indian Ocean should be military free zone. Okay? If you have seen the newspaper, Kalka statement that Indian Ocean should be military free zone. But which is the largest warship that is present in one of the largest warships of the world is present in Indian Ocean in the Diego Garcia Island, and this belongs to USA. So the island belongs to UK. UK ने USA को rent दिया है and USA ने उसको military base बनाया है. और क्या कह रहा है USA? USA कह रहा है कि Indian Ocean को military free करो. ये countries कह रही है कि सबसे पहले तो you go away. Then only it will be military free. So USA is saying no. I am the monitor of the class. I will make sure that it is military free. So this is what is the geopolitics of Indian Ocean. Now, there is another thing that is associated with some of the mountains that are located. And the most important mountains in the world is, can anyone tell me the name of these mountains? These are Rockies. Rockies, Rockies of North America. The highest mountain ranges of the North America. Can anyone tell me the name of these mountains? These are Andes. And these are the Andes of South America. The second highest mountain system in the world is Andes, after the Himalayas. The third important mountains in the world are Atlas. The third important mountains in the world are Atlas. Atlas of Africa. कौन से part of Africa? ये सब याद रखना है. You should know the location of all these mountains. The fourth mountain system in the world is Alps. Alps of Europe. And the fifth, but the highest mountain system in the world is Himalayas. You see how I have made Himalayas? एक line यहाँ पे, उसके बाद ऐसा, and after that, this. This is how the Himalayas is. In fact, आज अगर ये सब बता दिया तो you'll get confused. I should be making Himalayas this way, because this is Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which are nothing but the peaks of the Himalayas that come out from the sea. Andaman and Nicobar Islands are an extension of the Himalayas, and this is what is seen here. So this is Himalayas, one, then they go here, then they go down, go to Burma, and then out. Down. So ये सब के लिए we will require atlas, and ये सब properly दिया है इसी atlas में. So buy only this one. So these are the Himalayas. Now what are these? Rockies, Andes, etc. or Himalayas? What are these? Can I say they are mountains? So which is the highest mountain of North America? Rockies. Which is the highest mountain of South America? Andes. Which is the highest mountain of Asia? Himalayas. Which is the highest mountain of the world? Which is the highest mountain of India? Peak नहीं पूछ रहा, mountain. So all these mountains are an example of an mountains which are highest. Now you should ask me why they are highest. They are highest because of two reasons. The first reason is they are fold mountains. So fold mountains तो highest है तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Now what do you understand by fold? They are formed due to the folding of the earth. क्या fold हुआ है earth के ऊपर? Earth का surface fold हुआ है. Earth का crust fold हुआ है. Earth का crust कैसे fold हुआ है? Because of the heavy amount of forces that are coming from interior of the earth. Now to understand this concept, you should know this entire earth, which is of जिसके ऊपर हम रह रहे हैं, we are standing on this entire earth, उसका radius is 6371 kilometers, and it is divided into different layers. Now to know the earth, just imagine a boiled egg. Boiled egg has three parts. Egg का पीला part, what you will want is an egg yolk. Earth के अंदर भी एक ऐसा part है, and we call it as an core. And boiled egg का पीला part का वजन सबसे ज़्यादा होता है या हल्का होता है? सबसे ज़्यादा होता है. So core of the earth is the densest. उसके बाद egg white, that is the mantle of the earth. And उसके बाद egg का छिलका, that is the crust. And ऐसा ही है हमारा अर्थ भी. इस छिलके के ऊपर हम रह रहे हैं. And we are nothing but a dust of a dust. That is, dust का एक small sub part is we human beings. Because the highest mountain जो हमें लगता है, which is Himalayas, which is Mount Everest, उसका height is 8.5 kilometers. It is not even 1% of the depth of the earth. That is 6371 kilometers. हमें what we think if we are the most super intelligent human beings in the world, or super intelligent beings in the world, is we cannot even predict normal things such as earthquakes and tsunami. With all the science and technology, satellites, etc. ये सब हम कहते हैं India is tsunami ready because tsunami generate होने के 7 घंटे बाद हमें पता लगेगा tsunami generate हो गई है. So, but elephants know one day before whether there is going to be a tsunami or not. Fishes know 6 months before whether there is going to be a tsunami or not. Or our tsunami early warning system, within 6 hours of tsunami generation, it will give us warning. So, and why it is considered the best in the world? It is considered best in the world क्योंकि 6 घंटे पहले बताएगा कि tsunami आ रही है कि नहीं इंडिया में. इससे पहले India was dependent on Pacific early warning system, जिसने बताया कि India is going to be struck by tsunami. Maybe वो phone पे जोक होगा. उन्होंने पूछा कितने देर में? बोलता just देखते ही रहो, tsunami आ रही है. So 10 minutes before it told that the tsunami is going to occur in India. Just 10 minutes before. So India ने खुद का ही किया. That is what is the difference. Now you should know this are fold mountains because Earth's crust is folded, And why they are so great in height? Because I'm introducing one concept here, because they are an example of young fold mountains. Why young fold? They are known as young fold mountains. They are known as young fold mountains because they originated in the period of the Earth. They originated in the recent period known as tertiary period or alpine orogeny. So for prelims सबसे पहले याद रखना, what are the mountains that belong to the tertiary period? ये जो red color के mountains हैं, Rockies, Andes, Atlas, Alps and the Himalayas. कौन सा period है ये? They are tertiary period. क्यों tertiary? Because Earth का period has been divided into primary, बहुत पुराना, then secondary, then tertiary, और जब human beings हैं quaternary. So they are belonging to the youthful period that is known as a tertiary period. So that is why we call them as young fold mountains. They are of a recent origin on the surface of the Earth. And ये origin is known by the different name, that is the alpine orogeny. क्यों alpine orogeny? Because Alps बने थे. Now यहाँ पे two words are there, Oro and Geni. Oro मतलब mountain and Geni means origin. So जिस period में Alps were originated, उसी period में Andes, Rockies, Himalayas were originated, and therefore we call them as young fold mountains. So whenever you go to the preliminary examination, just remember one simple thing: Rockies, Andes, Atlas, Alps, and Himalayas ये सारे cousins हैं. Why? Because they originated in the same period, and as a result of this, उनकी height बहुत ज़्यादा है over the period of time. Got it? Now, one more thing I'm introducing is, on the other hand, there are some of the mountains. Any doubts here? So, कल अगर question आता है prelims में, what are the mountains of alpine orogeny? अगर कल इसमें आता है, consider the question will be somewhat like this: is the red color visible behind? Identify the odd one out. Identify the odd one out means identify the mountains which do not belong to the alpine orogeny. ऐसा statement होगा. I am not writing that statement. And the options they can give is Himalayas. The options they can give is Andes. Third option हो सकता है Aravallis. So कल question आता है what are the mountains of alpine orogeny? अगर कल इसमें आता है, consider the question will be somewhat like this: is red color visible behind? Identify the odd one out. Identify the odd one out means identify the mountains which do not belong to alpine orogeny. ऐसा statement होगा. I am not writing that statement. And the options they can do is Himalayas. The options they can do is Andes. Third option हो सकता है Aravallis. And fourth option होगा Appalachians. And then the statement will be 1. ये ऐसे questions नहीं आते UPSC में. A and B only. 2. A, B, C only. 3. C and D only. What is the answer here? The answer is C and D only. So why? Because नहीं किया नहीं है. They are not young fold mountains. Aravallis and Appalachians. Young fold mountains are Rockies, Andes, etc. So why is this addition? The other mountain which is here, this is what is in USA is known as just know the location क्योंकि हमें बार-बार we will require it many times addition mountains. The mountain which is here, right from Duhat to कहाँ पे खत्म होता है Aravallis? Delhi. Haryana में भी है, Delhi में. They start from Gujarat and over the period of time they end in Delhi. The end point of Aravallis is now a famous Gurudwara known as Bajum का किला Gurudwara. That is the geographical end point of Aravallis. हमारे कंट्री में geographically important locations मंदिर या कोई religious place ही मिलेगा generally. So to conserve it. So Bajum का किला Gurudwara. Highest point of Aravallis in Delhi is Rising Hills. जहाँ पे President House is located. नहीं, it's lower. You are written on अभी था, and इसलिए ये रास्ता ऐसा है. We call this the ridge road. राजेंद्र नगर के आसपास ये ridge road है because this is the old Aravallis. Now, if we will do over the period of time, once upon a time, this Aravallis were as high as Mount Everest. ये जो part था, this was as high as Mount Everest. This were as high as Himalayas, but they have been eroded over a period of time. क्यों? Because one statement just remember that the final surface of the जितनी mountains है, ये create होंगे and they will be destroyed. They will be created and they will be destroyed. In fact, more will introduce one law of geography that the only thing that's permanent is change. ये कोई philosophical statement नहीं है, ये proper एक law है geography का. First law of geography says that the only thing that is permanent is change. क्योंकि आज जो हम जहाँ पे बैठे हैं, क्लास जहाँ पे हो रहा है, 1 लाख साल पहले यहाँ पे गड्ढा था, कुछ नहीं था यहाँ पे, और 1 लाख साल बाद there will be the fourth parallel range of Himalayas. So today in the after 1 lakh years से कुछ नहीं रहेगा. This will be fourth parallel range of Himalayas. और जो हम अंदर बच्चे हैं, जो अंदर ट्रैक हो जाएंगे, फिर आगे जनरेशन पड़ेगी हमें Himalayas are in petroleum deposits. So over the period of time. So why is this? Because जितना भी old है mountains, they are reduced in height, and therefore note down the first statement for your list is that the Aravallis are the oldest fold mountains in the world. Aravallis are the oldest fold mountains in the world, belonging to an era which is known as pre-Cambrian era. Belonging to an era which is known as pre-Cambrian era. Belonging to the era which is known as pre-Cambrian era. Why? Himalayas कौन से era को belong कर रहे हैं? Tertiary. There is a period actually, and Aravallis pre-Cambrian. Next point, Appalachians. Appalachians. The next point, the other examples of old fold mountains are one Appalachians of North America, Populations of North America. Second, ULs. ULs. Yeah, ULs. It is a mountain range which is located here, and that is considered as a division between Europe and Asia, because geographically there is no division between Europe and Asia. Both are same, but culturally there is a difference between Europe and Asia, and इसलिए we consider that as an ULs. And third, so the other old four mountains are Appalachian, Urals, and third, mountains of Scandinavia. Mountains of Scandinavia, Ireland. Mountains of Scandinavia, Ireland. So ये जो mountains हैं यहाँ पे, these are what are known as the mountains of Ireland and mountains of Scandinavia. These are old mountains, Urals and Urals. तो इसमें oldest कौन सा है? Urals. You have to remember this all lines because यही है preliminary question. Now understand one simple rule. जितना older is landform, उतना and if it's still present today, it is not here in study. इसका मतलब ये है कि it is made of tough minerals. And because it is made of tough minerals, generally metallic minerals वहाँ पे मिलेंगे. Understand? Metallic minerals will be found. ये लिखना है, ये just याद रखना है over the period of time. Metallic minerals oldest landforms में मिलेंगे. And जो नया landform है, it won't be having metallic minerals. Now one statement to take down. Aravallis is a part of Peninsular Plateau. Aravallis is a part of Peninsular Plateau. Aravallis is a part of Peninsular Plateau. Stop. Peninsular Plateau. Peninsular Plateau. Peninsular Plateau. What's the Peninsular Plateau? Comma. Canadian Shield. Canadian Shield. Canadian Shield. Comma. African Shield, which is central part of Africa, known as an African Shield, Brazil. Brazil. These are oldest plateaus in the world. Brazil. These are oldest land masses in the world. These are oldest land masses in the world. Stop. Hence, these land masses are geologically stable. And this land masses are geologically stable. इसका मतलब ये है कि यहाँ पे earthquakes, volcanoes नहीं है. There is absence of earthquakes and volcanoes. Geologically stable, and rich in mineral deposits. And rich in mineral deposits. And rich in mineral deposits. So minerals India में पेनिnsula प्लाटो. कहाँ पेनिnsula प्लाटो शुरू होता है? अरावलीज, मध्य प्रदेश, झारखंड, छत्तीसगढ़, उड़ीसा, आंध्र प्रदेश, तेलंगाना, महाराष्ट्र, गुजरात, कर्नाटक. ये सब पेनिnsula प्लाटो है. And north east पेनिnsula प्लाटो is the state of Meghalaya. अब हम इंडियन ज्योग्राफी करेंगे, मिनरल्स हम इस बीच में रहेंगे. When we'll do Indian geography and we'll go for examination, there will be one or two questions which will be there from northeast, and generally आपको answer नहीं मिल पता होगा उसका. But if you know the concept, if a question पूछा है XYZ mineral is found in the state of India, and state में सिर्फ northeast है, answer is Meghalaya. Because minerals सिर्फ यहाँ plateau है, हम लेंगे. ये over the period of time, in see, it is impossible to know all this. इतना सारा data इस examination में रखे जाना impossible है. You should be very very smart also, and because ये competitive exam है. अगर आप नहीं करोगे तो किसी को 80,000 select करें. तो वो कहीं पे मिल जाएंगे. 10 लाख में से 10,000 निकालने की बड़ी बात है. 6 लाख लोग एक प्रिंस देंगे, उसमें से 10,000 मिलना है प्रीलिम के मेंस सीखने. So it is a competitive exam, and competitive exam में एक अंदर रूल होता है. आपकी पढ़ाई मैटर नहीं करती, आपकी competition कितनी पढ़ाई करते हैं वो मैटर करती है. So you should always study more than your competition, or you should smart than your competition. So if they are studying for 12 hours and you are studying for 2 hours, you are out of this. If they are studying for 12 hours, अगर आप Einstein हो, आपको फिर 8 घंटे पढ़ना ही पड़ेगा. अगर आप बंकी हो, 12 घंटे 20 घंटे पढ़ना पड़ेगा. So that is the area where we are doing. So with this, one more statement. The landforms are continuously created and destroyed. Landforms are continuously created and destroyed. Younger the landforms, greater will be the height. Younger the landforms are continuously created and destroyed. Younger the landforms, greater will be the height. Greater will be the height. And older the landforms, the topography will be relatively near the sea level. The topography will be near the sea level. Topography मतलब height. Sea level मतलब near 0 kilometer. Sea level is considered as 0 kilometer. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि दिल्ली is near sea level मतलब दिल्ली के पास समंदर है. इसका मतलब है कि दिल्ली is near 0 kilometers. Delhi height is less. So we meet tomorrow. Being that less along with you tomorrow.